Good day, everyone. This is Talk Football Live. I'm here, Charles, with my colleagues Ayo and Biodun. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Good
All
man.
right, so today we're
To be back.
discussing the men's FIFA best players. The list just came out, and we need to get into it. For those who watch, last week we discussed Ballon d'Or nominees, and seems like there are some similarities. But before we start, I just want to say one thing, like we always say: please subscribe, like this video, share with everyone, friends and loved ones, even enemies if possible, and keep still hit the subscribe button and keep watching our videos. We really really appreciate you. So before we start this FIFA nominees, best men's nominees, we're gonna let Ayo give us like just a background story of how these nominations are done, how it compares to the Ballon d'Or, and anything else that comes with it.
Yeah, so another question people have is what really is the difference between these two awards, right? Why is there FIFA Best Men's and there's another one called Ballon d'Or? Well, we talked about that last week. So Ballon d'Or is held by the France Football Federation, and the FIFA Best Men's Player Award is given by FIFA, the Federal International Football Association.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's just the difference. It's just two different organizations hosting the award. As far as the list of players for the FIFA's Best Men's Award, it's put together by what they call a panel of experts. So there's a women's panel, a men's panel, and what they call a fan award. So people that were voted, I guess, to be on the list. It has players like Peter Cech, John Obi Mikel, DJ Drogba, Messi Akide, Isabel Echeverri from Colombia, Mia Hamm from the US. Basically, former players.
Lots of former Chelsea players too. I see. Huh.
Sure. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're there.
they are. All right, that was good. That was good. So those differences, of course, they are very important because they're two different organizations. But that also brings up the question: which award is really more valuable? We've just, most times when a player wins best man in FIFA, that player most times ends up winning Ballon. But sometimes it's not always the case. So which one do you guys think is more valuable between the two of them? Or which one do you think should be more valuable? Biodun, do you want to speak to that?
Um. Okay. Since you called me out,
Mhm.
I and again, I think my view is probably just my subjective view because maybe from the part of the world that I am, and maybe the one I'm tuned to, the news I listen to, it's very possible that somebody else might feel different because somebody's just tuned to the other one. So, but I think Ballon d'Or for me is probably the one that I will rate more. Uh, but I wouldn't disagree if anyone rates the FIFA Men's Player more than Ballon d'Or. I think maybe because of the way it's been hosted and celebrated. To me, I'm trying to make a joke. Maybe it might be like comparing Grammys to Eddie's Award for people that know the Eddie's Award, but never mind. So I think the Ballon d'Or is kind of done in a way that you feel like, hey, you're in a Grammy Award. So I think that's great. FIFA Men's Player. It looks like a low key celebration sometimes. So,
Mhm.
and that's the way I see it. But I'm also okay and cool with anyone seeing it the other way.
Yeah, I kind of want to agree with you because me personally, the only reason I'll be agreeing, and I don't think it's as bad as Grammy to Eddie's. I think maybe Grammy to whatever other, maybe MTV
MTV
music.
Music Awards.
Exactly. But I'm
Guys, man,
wondering.
I just want to rep Eddie's. I just want to give Eddie some props. Come on, man.
I see. I personally think, considering how we know when we talk about we the football fans, when we talk about Messi and Ronaldo, Messi has 7 ballons, Ronaldo has 5. Ronaldinho has 1. This guy has that. We don't nobody ever mentions that Messi has 7 FIFA men's or 8 FIFA men's or whatever amount he has. You understand? So I that alone to me makes it seem like Ballon is more prestigious. It's really the only one that, like, if I ever have a debate with a friend and I'm googling stuff about what makes a player better, one player better than the other, I'm mainly focused on who has more balance. You know, who is in the top 3 of Ballon. I've never ever actually debated who is in top 3 of FIFA men's best player. So But I guess the FIFA in front of it makes it seem like it's the bigger one. But I personally think Ballon is definitely bigger.
Yeah. Point of correction, Ballon d'Or is actually hosted by France Football, not the French Federation, which I mentioned earlier. So just quick correction on that. But yeah, I agree that the Ballon d'Or seems more prestigious. I think when you look at the award, like the Ballon d'Or is that golden football, right, that you get. It just seems more prestigious. And then for those that don't know, I think something to do with the exclusivity as well. I think it was initially only open to players that were playing in Europe until they expanded it. So I think maybe just coming from that background of exclusivity, like you were playing in the best leagues in the world, for you to be nominated into this prestigious list, that then get an award winner. I think maybe some of that history as well plays into it.
Okay.
And Charles, if I could add something, sorry from interrupting you. Remember you guys didn't like my analogy and my description of Grammy versus Eddies, right? But in a way, it might sound okay because Ballon d'Or is way is older than FIFA's men's player of the year, way older. And I just confirmed it. I just checked my source, and it started way back in 1956. FIFA's men player came out in the 2000s, right? So you can see that gap of historical event. So I say that to push back my point to say, hey, Grammys versus Eddies. Eddies is a baby, while Grammys is a grandfather. So
even more like a great grandfather.
Valid point.
Okay, good one. All right, so for those of you who didn't watch last week's clip on the Ballon nominations, you need to go watch it because something miraculous happened, something that has never happened before. Biodun and I agreed. Its top 5 was exactly the same as my top 5, not planned, not scheduled. It was just impromptu. That has never happened before. Biodun and I always disagree. He's an Arsenal fan, I'm a Chelsea fan. We disagree on everything. But this time we agree. Now, the other part of the miracle is Ayo had a very, very weird list of nominations.
I had my reasons.
Yeah, you're going to have to repeat your reasons to us. So let's see the full list, or just a clip of the list of the FIFA men's best players. So we have Julian Alvarez, Marcelo Brozovic, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, Haaland, of course, the main man, Hernandez, Rodri. I don't know that name. I was trying to read it.
That's his full name.
Yeah, Rodri, Mbappe, and this guy whose name I'm never able to pronounce, Kvaratskhelia. I won't even try his first name. Lionel Messi, of course, Victor Osimhen, Declan Rice, who I'm surprised to see on the list, and Bernardo Silva. Quite a good list. Now, before we even go through the list individually, I'm going to say, just as I said earlier, Biodun and I had the same list. Our top 5 all made it to the list. Kylian Mbappe, in no particular order. Lionel Messi, Julian Alvarez, Erling Haaland, and Kevin De Bruyne. Those are the top 5 for Biodun and I last week for top Ballon nominees, and they are all on this list. Now, Biodun and I analyzed. We went through it, who we think is going to win or who's not going to win. Biodun, who did you say is going to win Ballon, in your opinion, and why?
Oh, yeah. So my top 5 last week, and again, I think we did a great job. We had a list of 30 players. And we picked 5 out of 30 players. Today, we have a list of 12 players, if I'm correct. I think FIFA's men player have been shortlisted down to 12 players. So I think that's a better list. That's a more narrow list. And out of that 30, as of last week, I had selected Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Lionel Messi, De Bruyne, and Julian Alvarez.
Yeah.
Those are my 5 pick, and I think you have the same pick as well.
Yes. So my question to you is, I don't recall, well, maybe I can't recall, but I want to hear it from you again. Who did you pick to be number 1 and why?
If I remember very well, I said my list was in no order. And I think you guys followed suit. So unless you're asking me for the first time today to pick my number 1, 2, 3, but I refuse to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I think it's a very. I'm glad. Is that a question you want me to say? What I think would be my 1, 2, 3?
We'll have to go back to the video from last week to prove that you actually gave a number 1 last week, but
I did not.
Okay.
I mean, I think generally we agreed that Haaland deserved to win.
Okay.
I think that was an unanimous agreement. Yeah.
Okay, but so give me your top 3. If Haaland is number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3?
Okay. I think this is what would happen. For me, I don't want Messi to even be number 2. For me, I tell you what I want: Erling Haaland number 1, Kylian Mbappe 2, Lionel Messi number 3.
Okay.
But I think this is how it's going to turn out. I think we might be shocked again that they might give it to their golden boy, Lionel Messi. I won't like that, but I think it might happen, so people should prepare for that. Now, if they do the right thing and they give it to the guy that deserves it, I think it should be Erling Haaland. Them they probably console Lionel Messi by giving him the second spot and make Mbappe number 3. And I think Julian Alvarez should come fourth, and Kevin De Bruyne should come fifth. And I think that's an evidence of what we see today in the men's list. Because Ayo had picked a different list. So
we'll get to Ayo. Don't worry.
We'll get to that. Okay. All right. Let me stop talking.
So actually, I think we should stick with. Forget about what you think would happen, because there's a little there are a lot of politics involved. What do you think should happen? And let me focus on top 3. You said Haaland, Messi, Mbappe. Or did you say Haaland,
Mbappe, Messi?
Haaland, Mbappe, Messi. So I actually have it the other way around. I have Haaland, Messi, Mbappe, because, and I'm thinking, I'm tempted to ask you why you think Mbappe will go ahead of Messi, who won the World Cup. I understand why Haaland will go ahead of Messi, even though Haaland did not win the World Cup. Winning a treble, winning the Champions League, those individual awards Haaland got makes sense. Why we put Haaland as number 1. But why would you put Mbappe ahead of Messi?
Other achievements, other qualities. Messi has done his best. I think we talked about this last week. He won the World Cup. That's great. I think again you will hear conspiracies around they rigged the World Cup for Messi. I don't subscribe to that. But I think it worked out. However, they made it happen, because to be honest, I'm still processing how Argentina won that World Cup. Like, I'm still shocked.
You don't need to process that. I told you
it happened. It happened. I'm not going back on that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That's fine. They won it. But quality-wise, Mbappe was a better player. He's still a better player. Mbappe lifted PSG more than, lifted PSG more than Messi lifted PSG. Messi came to that project to help, and they had 3 key players. They did not deliver anything in Europe. To me, such power should have lifted. I mean, there was no Messi factor in PSG. That's the point that I'm trying to make. There was no Messi factor. It was an Mbappe factor, and even, I mean, it was supposed to be a force multiplier, and we didn't see that. We didn't feel that. We didn't feel that impact. I'm not blaming him alone. I blame himself, Neymar. Like, you had the 3 of you, and you couldn't deliver the Champions League. So I think that's a failure on that project. So to me, when it comes to club level for last season, I don't rate Messi. That's what I'm trying to say. World Cup is rated. He won it. He delivered it. He might not be the best player on that team, but in leading the team, captain of the ship, I think he delivered. He rode the team to victory, and I think he deserved something on that.
Let me pick on something. I don't want to stay on you too long, because I want to hear Ayo's opinion also. But if you say club level, you don't rate Messi, I don't think you can rate Mbappe on club level either, because they were in the same club and they both did not deliver Champions League.
He scored more goals. He contributed more goals. It was more effective. I mean, look at the stats.
Okay. But the trophy, the World Cup, was won by Messi, was not won by Mbappe. I think that's something you may need to look at. But why
it was won by Argentina? The World Cup was won by Argentina. Again, if you want to start that conversation, it's okay. But the World Cup was won by Argentina. Let's just leave it at that.
I agree. So why are you thinking about it, and maybe you're going to reshuffle your list later on?
If France had won that game, you would not have argued that Mbappe won that World Cup.
No,
I mean,
no, no, I'm not,
he
no, no. My
scored. He scored
statement,
the
my statement,
equalizers.
my
He
statement.
basically
Messi won the World
single-handedly
Cup
brought
is.
that game back to extra time.
Hold on. My statement, Messi won the World Cup is just. I'm just trying to poke at
Okay,
you.
all right.
Argentina did win the World Cup. I agree.
Yeah.
So back to our viewers. Let's not make the between the two of us. Ayo last week. Ayo did something phenomenal last week, and he created a 5-man top Ballon list of
Yes, greatest list of all time.
greatest of all time. Haaland,
They eat right
Messi,
now.
Mbappe, Julian Alvarez, and Emiliano
Emi
Martinez.
Martinez.
Uh,
What is that?
Yes.
well, no, I mean he's a superstar. He
Okay,
saved
Ayo will explain. Yeah.
Argentina. Ayo will explain exactly. But the thing about it is, Ayo categorically said he does not think KDB deserves to be in the top 5 list.
Yeah.
This is the guy who has the highest assists, who has been the highest assists for a couple of years in the EPL, won the treble. Most of Haaland's goals were his assists. You know, you got to think about so many things. Although he got injured in the final of Champions League, but anyways, so I categorically said he doesn't want KDB on the top 5 list. He wants Emiliano Martinez, and Ayo probably told us the reason last week, but we may need to hear it again. Ayo, 2 questions: why take out KDB? Why bring in Emiliano? Go.
It's very simple. So I think there's maybe no debating the other 4, right? So we know what Messi did, we know what Mbappe did, we know what Haaland did. Julian Alvarez was front and center for the most part of winning 4 trophies, including the World Cup and the treble. When it comes to KDB, KDB is a super player, right? But when I'm looking at who was inspirational, who stood out, right, last season, and those are who I'm picking for the 5. Plus the fact that I feel like all these awards are maybe usually biased towards attacking players. I feel like Emi Martinez deserves a mention. And I'm taking KDB out because I feel for me that when it comes to those big games, and I know you've talked about this before, Biodun, when it comes to those big games, KDB just seems to go missing in the. I mean, we've had 2 Champions League finals they've gotten to consecutively where he got injured. So he was not a factor in the actual winning of the Champions League final. You talked about him having the most assists in the league. Well, he was assisting Haaland, right? So anybody who is playing as a 10 for Haaland will probably be one of the highest assists anyway.
Are you serious right
so
now?
Not doubting KDB's quality, but that is a factor.
Oh, jeez, man.
And then there are so many. I mean, the whole Man City squad won the treble. It wasn't just KDB who won it.
Charles, please allow me to reply, please.
If KDB was the only player who won the treble, right, I would understand, but he's not, right? There's Gundogan, there's Rodri, there's Haaland, you know, from that team that made the list. Now, why did Emi Martinez? So I already talked about it. I think someone who is defensive, like a goalkeeper or a defender, deserves to be, you know, one of the top 5. That aside, I think what Emi Martinez did at the World Cup was phenomenal. I mean, normally it's the attackers who get all the plaudits.
Yeah.
But not only, I mean, we've talked about his antics and, you know, his, you know, display, which, you know, maybe was appropriate or inappropriate. But he actually had the saves to back it up.
Yep.
You know, there were 2 or 3 penalty shootouts where, you know, he saved Argentina and basically delivered them. And then there's that Colomwani save, which I think will forever be talked about when we talk about the 2022 or 2022 World Cup,
Yep.
right? If that ball had won in, that was the World Cup for France.
Yep.
And he dragged them to the penalty shootouts, right, in the dying minute of the game. So he's keeping his concentration for 120 minutes, delivers the save, and then delivers more saves to actually win them the World Cup. So for me, for that, he deserves to be in the list.
Biodun.
And not only that, he is one of the top keepers in the EPL. You know, he doesn't play for, you know, a top 4 or top 6 club. He decided to leave and he's at Aston Villa. But, you know, even at Villa,
he gets the job done.
Yeah. Over to you, Biodun.
All right. You said too many things that I want to make sure that I don't forget my my reply. Okay, where do I start from? Yeah. I remember where I want to start from. He said something about assists that is, of course, he had so many assists because he was assisting Erling Haaland. Ayo,
Yeah.
he assisted Gabriel Jesus. He assisted Leroy
Sergio
Sané.
Aguero.
He assisted Sergio
Yeah,
Aguero.
he said Aguero. Thank you, Charles.
Yes, yeah, that's the
Aguero is
thing.
one of the best finishers in
Why
the
did
game.
Aguero make the same stats as Erling Haaland when he had KDB behind him? He did his best,
That's what the
but he
point.
didn't
You're not
score as
telling
many
me
goals as Erling Haaland.
he didn't have all the he didn't have the 50 assists that he didn't have all the 50 assists that Haaland
Ayo,
had.
But
the
you
point
know
I'm trying to
KDB,
make, the point I'm
Biodun,
trying to make is
just
he
to say
also
one point, Biodun, even before Alan came, KDB has been an assist master in the EPL. It's not today.
thank
But
you.
go ahead,
It's been
Biodun.
consistent.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
point I'm trying to make is yes, is a good assist. Nobody is going to debate that. He had a good striker in front of him. But I'm also saying it takes a very good striker to convert those assists into goals. And you know that we have in Ketia, he scores some and misses some, right? Gabriel Jesus will win the ball with dribble, we create chances and all that. But his finishing sometimes is questionable, right? I don't know, maybe that's why they let him go. The point I'm trying to make is it basically supports the capability and the ability and intelligence of Erling Haaland. Of course, strikers need players like that to back them up, but they fulfill the work of those assistants. That's the point that I'm trying to make, right? It basically elevates De Bruyne himself, so they complement each other. It's not that De Bruyne alone is winning the credit; they complement each other because he converts De Bruyne's assist and brings out Kevin De Bruyne to another level. Go ahead. You want
I
to?
have one question. Tell me one impact that Kevin De Bruyne had, a major impact that you remember that he had in any of the 3 trophies that Man City won.
Oh, great! A lot of turning point. Thank you very much. The game against Real Madrid, the first leg, Real Madrid came back. Basically, that first leg was a very tough game. I saw City being threatened. It was KDB's goal that brought that confidence back. So you and I, yes, we agree on the fact that De Bruyne misses out on very important games. And I was pissed. If you remember that final, we were texting, and I was really pissed off that he got injured again. So I give you that. I'm not going to deny that. But leading to that final, that first leg against Real Madrid, City were caged, and he had to take an individual brilliance to come back, which I respect him for that, right? So that's number one. Now, the Liverpool game, City Liverpool game, that was played, I think, on the Saturday. I think that was the second leg that we're hoping that City would drop points. If you remember that very pass that he made to Alvarez, that was when Liverpool was ahead. And that restored the confidence and they came back. So I have very great moments of how he led. Not towards the end, but you have to look at those pivotal moments, and those things really change the approach towards winning the trophy. So they came back and won the EPL because of games like that, beating Liverpool, beating Real Madrid. So those things you can take away the final. But of course, if those things didn't happen, they will never get to the final. So that's the point I'm going to make. And on the joke side, finally, I just want to say, he bought iPhone for everybody, right? So as a good captain, the brother bought iPhone for everybody. He appreciated everybody. They won the no, seriously. No, like
Biodun, you're done talking.
Customized iPhone for everybody.
This is what I'll say. I'll say you remember those because you're a KDB fan and because it's
no, because I was watching. I'm not a City fan. I appreciate that game.
Hold on.
I have my own
bodyguard
to support.
We might not remember,
but
we will remember what Haaland did last season. We will remember what Mbappe did in that final.
Okay.
We will remember what Messi did at the World Cup. We will remember that Emi Martinez.
Again, can I say something though?
Hold on. You said a lot. We may get back to you if we have time. But let me just say one thing real quick, because I have points on this also. Just as I told, before I even go there, let me ask you a question, Ayo. You put Alvarez in top 5, but didn't put KDB. In the treble Man City won, just give me a name. Who had more effect, Alvarez or KDB?
KDB had more effect.
Good. So the only thing Alvarez has above KDB technically is the World Cup. But
it's the body of work.
I know. But so let's go back to the issue of KDB being an assist master, doing it for different strikers. My point for KDB is why KDB should be there is Man City's winning progress, winning the league several years in a row, getting to 2 Champions League finals, basically pushing to win Champions League in so many years. It's revolved so much around KDB. Strikers have come and gone. Defenders have come and gone. But one man, well, not the only one, but one of the few men that have been available throughout the whole process was KDB. So, and if KDB got highest assist in the EPL this year only because he had Haaland, I would understand. But my point is, the assist KDB gets, in my opinion, it's more about KDB than it is about Haaland. Because when they had Gabriel Jesus, it was the best assistant in the league. When they had Sergio Aguero, basically he's done it over time. Yeah, they've gone to Champions League finals and he didn't perform it because he got injured.
I'll throw that back to you.
But just in summary, what I'm trying to say is, just as I told Biodun to think about putting Mbappe ahead of Messi in his top 3, I think you should think about putting Emiliano Martinez ahead of KDB in your top 5.
I think you meant that the other way around, but I get what you're saying. I'm going to throw that back to you because KDB has been there for how many years?
As long as I can remember.
Pep, exactly. So I think Pep is probably a bigger factor.
Oh, yeah.
In that. The difference to the Man City of last season to every other Man City team that we've seen
is Erling
Haaland.
Which is why we are not putting KDB above Erling Haaland. We are putting KDB above.
So if you look at it from that perspective, Man City would have won the league with or without Haaland. But Man City would not have won the treble without Haaland.
Debatable, but I see your point. Now, Man City...
That's my point. So my point there is KDB, yes, is a factor, but he's not the factor.
He's not the biggest
Emi Martinez was the factor. He was a main factor.
Let me help you out.
Right? I can tell you that Argentina probably wouldn't have won the World Cup if it wasn't for Emi Martinez.
So let's say it this way. This will become an English class. Pep is the biggest factor.
Yes.
KDB is a big factor in Man City. Like Biodun said, all the games they played before they even got to the final, even though he didn't play in the final.
Exactly, but they won the finals without him, which means he's not a factor.
No, he is.
Really,
he is.
If you really think about it.
No, he is, because he helped them get to the final. Now,
but for me, the final wasn't the strongest game.
Nobody remembers who did things in the semifinals and quarterfinals. When you're nominating winners,
but the final wasn't the strongest game they played in the Champions League, though.
It wasn't.
But I'm saying we remember those moments because we're fans, because we pay attention to details.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have to, because people like you challenge what KDB does to be on that list.
Anyways, guys, we're running out of time, so I'll just say one more thing, which I already said before. I think, as I said before, Biodun, rethink putting Mbappe ahead of Messi, because Mbappe was in the same club with Messi, and whatever the club did, both of them were involved in. Messi's different factor, X factor, was the World Cup, which Mbappe did not get, even though he played well in the final. Ayo, rethink putting Emiliano Martinez ahead of KDB, because Emiliano Martinez won the World Cup and was a big factor for Argentina's World Cup. I agree. But KDB's team winning the treble, something that hasn't been done since 1999. Yes, he didn't play in final Champions League, but you can't argue that he was a major factor in winning the treble, because he was.
No doubt.
Exactly. So rethink putting Emiliano Martinez. If you said Emiliano Martinez should be 6th, I agree. But I don't think
it's not even on the 12-man list.
You're asking me different questions now. If you're saying, does KDB deserve to be listed as one of the best players in the world from last season, without a doubt, right? He would probably be in my top 10.
But do you think Emiliano Martinez should be above him?
Without a doubt. I'm not going to go back.
Why is Emiliano Martinez not? Why is Emiliano Martinez not in the 12-man list for FIFA?
Exactly. I was just going to say FIFA thinks differently, though. That's why Emiliano Martinez is on this top 12 list. So exactly. In conclusion, the top 12 list contains players that are supposed to be the best in FIFA ranking, men's players, and Emiliano Martinez did not make it. So, like I said, we should rethink that aspect. But anyways, This has been great. On this top man list, one more thing we'll need to say is who doesn't deserve to be there. Just drop the name real quick. Biodun.
Oh, I gotta go back to my list real quick, or maybe I wants to flash a full list.
Yeah,
Who doesn't deserve to be there? Just drop it real quick.
Uh,
You said Brozovic?
Yeah.
Why?
I am going to be a bit. Maybe we can drop Declan Rice.
Why? I need your reasons.
Number one, okay. So number one, before I say
Make it
anything
brief.
else,
Just
you actually, yeah, there's no Chelsea player on the list. I just want to put that out there. Real quick, 6-man City player, 2 from PSG, 2 from Napoli, 1 from Inter Milan, 1 from Arsenal. So I just want to put that out
Declan
there.
Rice was in West Ham when he got on this list, but keep going.
He's an Arsenal player. I don't care whatever you say. We're already in the negotiation before the end of the season anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think
Give your reason.
He was on that list because he won something, and I think what he won is an European competition, but it's not as rated as these other players. We're talking about Champions League. He won the Conference League. I think he had a great season, no doubt. But I don't think what he did was enough to get on that list. Also, his World Cup contributions. These other players had a better World Cup contribution than him. So if I would drop somebody, I would start by dropping Declan Rice.
Okay, thank you. Ayo, you said Brozovic. Why?
For me, it's Brozovic because Declan Rice would probably be a close second, but I think Declan Rice had a great season. He inspired West Ham. I mean, West Ham is probably an unlikely winner of an European competition, and he inspired that team as the captain and led them to the final. I mean, he was also instrumental in the actual final, not just disappearing like some players. But for Brozovic, I mean, when I look at what he won and what he did, when we think about that Croatia team, Modric is the one that we think about. Brozovic is impactful, but that midfield for Croatia is strong in general. So for me, it's when we're talking of this top awards, these are all fantastic players. They're all top level, but it's your ability to make differences in key moments to be the standout performer for me that really catches the eye. And for me, of the people in this list, Brozovic is the one that drops out.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. This has been great. The conversation is always nice, and we look forward to doing more of this. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. We look forward to having more videos to share with you.
Thank you very much. Please share this with
Awesome.
Emiliano Martinez. Yeah.
I've been